Welcome, my name's Colleen.
And my name is May, and on today's video I will be refinishing a teak table I got from a secondhand store. I'm using a couple of products and I'm using them for the first time, and I want to review those products and talk to you about how I feel how they worked and what they did. The one product is called Paint and Varnish, the Citrus Stripper.
Oh.
And I'm using that, and also I'm using Odie's oil, and we'll just get started. Here it is. The table was quite easy to take apart, Colleen. Like, it fit right in the SUV. You just unscrew the legs. And so that part of it was very easy. Getting it out of the car, getting it into the car. And after we got it out of the car, I'm looking at the back of it here. And there seems to be some watermarks and a lot of wear. So what I thought I would do at the beginning is to sand the back of it and use a sander before I took off the finish.
Okay, you didn't have to worry about that on the bottom part.
No, because there's no finish on the bottom part.
Oh, look at that.
I thought I'd start with a leaf first because they're small, and if I make a mistake, then they're going to be hidden. And there was some quite deep scratches in those leaves. I don't know if it was from the car or it was from the owners, but I wasn't sure if that was going to come out or not.
I don't even remember seeing that, so that's amazing.
This is the actual table itself. It looks like it's in pretty rough shape. I'm hoping that we can salvage it.
I know you. You'll be able to handle it. Yeah, it looks like lots of work, but
Yeah.
I know you love that stuff.
Looks like it's been through a lot with a lot of coffee marks or water marks. And now here's the product that I'm using, the Paint and Varnish Citrus Stripper. I do use gloves, I use eyewear, and I'm also wearing a mask, although it has a really nice citrusy scent. It's also water-based, but I thought I'd give it a shot because I've never used this product before.
Right.
And I thought I would give it a shot and a test piece. But then I got the test piece out and I thought it doesn't really simulate the teak kind of thing. So I thought I'd better try it on the teak because this had a really lot of finish on it, that one piece.
Okay.
So I thought I would just try it on the back.
Well, that was a good idea.
On a little spot there. And
so you just use a sponge?
Just to use a sponge to apply it. A sponge brush. It said, I read the instructions carefully, you have to give it a good shake, and then you cover it with saran wrap. There's other names for saran wrap.
Cling film, those kind of things.
Yep, and you just leave that. I left that on for about an hour.
Okay.
And it seemed to scrape off quite well. There you go.
Oh, okay. So is it a plastic scraper that you use?
Yeah, I use plastic at the back of it, yes. And then here is water, because it is water-based. You just need water to neutralize it. So just
okay, neutralize is the word. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And now I'm just going to sand the back before I take off all the finish on the front. Sanding the back, I'm being a little bit more aggressive with the sander at the front of it. I'll use hand sanding because with a teak table, it's basically veneer on top. Now around this particular table, it's actually solid teak, so I could edging. I could be a little bit more aggressive with the sanding around there, but I just wanted to kind of clean up the back.
That makes sense.
So I wasn't too concerned about using a hand sander on the back. So this seemed to do the trick, and it took all the stains and the marks off.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't realize it would take them off.
Yep.
Fantastic.
And as you can see on the edges, I can be very aggressive and just take off any kind of finish on the back.
Right.
And I'm just kind of going with the grain here. Taking off all the dirt grime.
I have a little iron that looks like your little hand sander. Good work. Is that the part that you'd scraped off the finish?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's solid wood.
Okay.
And the legs are the same way. The legs are solid wood, so I was able to be aggressive on that, and I didn't use any of the stripper on the legs. I just sanded them right down. And I was really happy with how they turned out. They didn't really have a lot of finish on them.
Okay.
And also this is the table, I don't know what you call that piece where it just holds the table itself, the top trim.
Right.
And again, it's solid teak.
Okay.
And didn't have a lot of finish on it, so it was easy just to sand down with the sander. And I didn't have to use the stripper on that either. So it came off quite nice.
It's a lot of work you put in, that's for sure.
Beautiful grain on that wood. And then just to finish off, I think I used 180 grit here, sanding it by hand.
You're going to build up muscles for pickleball this way.
And see the difference in the legs?
Oh my goodness.
That was them sanded down. Now, here's the first part I've ever done. This was one of the leaves.
Okay.
And again, putting it on very liberally. That's what the instructions said.
Okay.
So
and you said it smells good?
It smells very nice.
Okay.
Though you can see I'm wearing the gloves.
Yeah.
And I do have a mask on. And eye protection, because, you know, you don't want any of this in your eyes or anything like that.
No, that's right.
Just to take that precaution. I did watch Gilboy's YouTube channel. He's awesome. He does great work, and that's where I kind of learned how to do this, actually. And following some of his instructions when doing teak tables. So I really appreciate his videos. And also Transcend Furniture Gallery. She's very good too at transcending different furnitures on YouTube. So if you get an opportunity, those are two great YouTube channels to watch. Now, here I am putting on this cling wrap. I have no idea how this stuff's going to react. So, but it, you know, putting it on was fairly easy process. And again, because of the Gilboy's YouTube channel, he had mentioned this product. And he wasn't saying the product was bad, but he did say that a lot of people, if they left it on too long, the cling wrap, then it sometimes got stuck. And so I was a little leery to use this product after hearing what he said. So I was kind of just testing it every now and then just to make sure the cling wasn't getting stuck on it. So it was coming off quite nicely.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah. Now I'm using a plastic scraper here, and I think that's what I recommend, because then you're not digging in to the veneer, which you could do quite easily. But then after a while, I thought this plastic scraper wasn't getting right down to where I needed to go. So I did later on in the video use a metal one, and I was just very careful not to dig it in too much so that I wouldn't go into the veneer, and I was able to do it successfully. So
excellent.
You can see just peeling off that stuff.
Wow, look at it come off like that.
Right. So I did this process 3 times. I gave it 3 coats.
Oh my goodness.
Here's the metal scraper. Just being very careful not to...
yeah. I think with the width of it, it would be hard to dig in so hard.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's me after one stripping it once.
Right.
And again, I did it 3 times.
That's a lot of work.
Process 3 times.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
And I just used paper towel and an old tray. Now that I was finished doing that, I used 120 grit sandpaper and I hand sanded it.
Right. Going with the grain again.
Going with the grain, yes.
I can't believe the difference in it. It's beautiful.
And I strip it right down, and that's what this Gilboy had said, to strip it right down to the very bare wood.
Right.
And now that I'm finished with the 120 and the 180 grit, what I do is I will neutralize it with the water, which is quite a simple process. And I love this. It was very satisfying because you can see the actual grain and how it's going to finish up. Like, it's beautiful.
So what would happen if you didn't neutralize it?
It would still continue to work.
Oh, okay. And you don't want that to happen.
You don't want that to keep going and digging into the wood. Now, here's the trick. Here's the tabletop.
Oh,
and I'm just wondering, how is this going to be? But I didn't want to use the whole table because I wasn't quite sure if I could get it all stripped without the saran sticking. So I just did half of the table
that makes sense.
at a time.
Right.
And again, reading the instructions, you give this thing a good shake.
Right.
And there's the instructions on the back. So really nice product. I really was impressed with it.
So you'd use it again?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it was great.
And do you brush it on in the same direction as the grain, or does it matter?
I don't think that matters.
Wow, look at it go.
You know, you can do this in a few days, or you can dig this over time. I took my time and did this over a few days, and I would leave it and go back to it. So it seems like a lot at one time, but
Right. Now I know there was a temperature you had to make sure you had.
yes, and I can't remember what that temperature was, but it tells you on the product.
Right.
Well, this is very satisfying.
Oh,
look at that. That's
Unbelievable.
all the junk on there from years. Look at that. That's beautiful.
unbelievable.
I know.
Holy moly.
Look at that.
Ugh.
Yep. But very satisfying.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, so the weather was kind of cool to start with, so it kind of put me behind the timeline. And I would just wait till the temperature warmed up a little bit before I applied this.
I know you'd mentioned 10 degrees Celsius, but I
Right.
didn't know how much over 10 degrees it had to be.
I think it was 10 degrees, but they'll tell you on the instructions.
Oh, excellent. I can't believe the difference in
Yeah,
it.
I know. Look at that. Just came right off.
That is amazing.
So that was the actual tabletop. It was a lot more stuff on that than you could see that was on the leaves.
Okay.
And I think probably because it got a lot more wear than the
That
leaves
would
did.
make
That
sense.
makes sense. Now there was one spot on there. I thought I'll deal with it later. I didn't really want to deal with it right now, so I just kind of ignored it. I thought, oh no, what's happened? It went through the veneer.
Oh,
I was
okay.
kind of pondering what I'm going to do later, but I just went ahead and sanded it with the 120, then again the 180, hand sanded it.
Right.
And you can see everything's down to the bare wood.
It's amazing.
Yep. I saved some of the sanding dust,
Right.
and I think what I might do is, you can see the veneer is getting very thin there.
Right.
So what I might do is use that sanding dust and mix it with some glue to put
Okay.
it on this kind of bare spot. If you were to put wood filler on there, wood filler doesn't take any kind of stain, or
Okay.
doesn't really color very well. So I thought if I used the dust particles, it would at least have the similar color.
All right. So that's wood glue.
And then this is the sawdust from what I just did.
Okay. Look at that. You're making a bit of a slurry here.
Just making a little paste. And that will give it similar color.
Right. Right.
I mean, it won't be perfect, but I think it'll take more of a color than...
Right. Absolutely. What a great idea you had.
Yeah. And then I just put it on that piece there.
That was a great idea. Got the tape around it, so you're just dealing with that one portion.
And I just scraped it down, and then once it dried, I gave it a good sand. There we go. And I'm just sanding it off. See, the color is quite similar.
That's right.
And then
it
I'm
is.
just sanding it off best I could.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. And now for the end part, I'm using the Odie's Oil Original. I've never used this product before, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. It's non-toxic. It brings out the natural beauty in the wood, and it protects from water after it cures in about 30 days.
Oh, okay.
And the trick here is to stir it really, really well.
It gets a lot more fluid when you do that.
Yes. And to put it on, I used a Merlon pad 2500. And you just kind of soak up the pad a little bit. Yeah. The trick to this is you hardly put anything on. The trick is you don't use a lot.
Okay.
But I'm just soaking up the pad to get it kind of, in there first.
Right, right.
And then, as you can see, hardly using anything at all.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, just put a little bit on there. then going with the grain.
Look at it.
Rubbing
Oh,
it.
it's
Isn't that
beautiful.
beautiful?
The finish is amazing.
I love this product. I'd heard great things about it, and it seems a little pricey for the little jar. I think it was just over $80 for that small jar, but you don't need a lot of it. That little jar will go a long way.
Look at how beautiful that's making that wood. Oh, my goodness.
I like this because then I don't need urethane or anything like that on top
Right.
of it. It's just a really nice finish.
Look at that.
So I just kept going through the whole table. I won't bore you with the details. I'll keep going with this. But once you put this on, I left it for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I
Okay.
just kind of wiped it off.
Oh my goodness, look how beautiful that is.
Yes, it came up really nice.
It's amazing.
Yes. And I did this to both leaves and the table, and I was just happy with the results. And here we have the finished product. Now you can see that little dark mark there. There is a product and a process that you can do in between that will take dark marks off. I didn't do that process. We're not selling this. This was just for our benefit. So that wouldn't bother us.
Look
'cause
at what it, that's amazing. Like there's none of the rings are there.
No.
Not that big scratch part isn't there.
that there it was before,
Exactly.
you remember?
Yeah.
And
like
there it is after.
Night and day. Unbelievable.
It is. I would definitely. Teak furniture seems to be a thing right now, and it's quite expensive. But if you can buy a piece of teak furniture reasonably priced, then I would recommend those two products for sure. Here we are with the leaves out. It extends out to be quite a large, sturdy table. And you can see the leaves are just a little bit darker than the actual table, but we generally have a tablecloth on there anyway.
That's right. I can't believe the length that you get.
Yes.
So pretty.
And it's like a brand new table. The legs turned out nice, and they came up really nice with that Odie's oil on them. I hope you found that video helpful. If I can do and refinish a table, you can also.
And it is absolutely beautiful.
And it turned out better than I ever thought. And I would highly recommend this product. I used it. I loved using it. I would definitely use it again. It was successful. And also the Odie's oil, which was amazing. And I would definitely use that again. So I hope you would find this helpful for your next project. And until next time,
You take care.